Justin Gaethje rematched Dustin Poirier at UFC 291. In my previous video, I broke down how Dustin Poirier was able to get the win in their first fight. I've linked that video in the description for anyone interested. There was 5 years between this fight and their first. That loss to Poirier and the loss prior to that against Eddie Alvarez are what prompted Gaethje to adjust his fighting style. He fights with a far more intelligent approach in this fight. In the first fight, Gaethje constantly moved forward. If Dustin was in front of him, he'd be looking to attack. But here we see him land an outside low kick, and instead of staying, looking to follow up, he moves away, not giving Dustin a chance to counter. In their first fight, it was Gaethje moving forward and Dustin fighting off the back foot, but this time the roles are reversed, with Poirier pressing forward and Gaethje moving on the outside. In the first fight, Gaethje's defense was to just stand in place with a high guard, trying to cover up as best he could. He shows a more diverse defense in this fight. Here he uses his guard to block Dustin's left, but then uses footwork to move off after, rather than standing there allowing Poirier to follow up. Instead of just taking punches on his guard, he looks to parry more, as we see here with Dustin's jab. And also makes use of head movement in this fight too. With Gaethje's more varied defense, Dustin isn't able to land as often as he did in their first bout. In the first fight, Gaethje didn't use any feints to set up his strikes, but here we see him using fake steps and feints with the hands to keep Dustin guessing. Just as it was Dustin fighting off the back foot in the first fight, and here is Gaethje, it was Dustin having success with shifting combinations in the first match, whereas again in this fight, it's Gaethje having success with them. For those unaware, a shifting combination is when a fighter changes stances throughout their combination. For example, you may throw a straight right hand from orthodox, step forward with your right foot behind it, so that you are now standing in southpaw, and then throw a straight left from that stance. It can be very effective when looking to close the distance on an opponent far away, or a good way to catch up to an opponent that's retreating. Here Gaethje throws an overhand right from orthodox, steps into southpaw, and then throws a right hook into an overhand left. He uses this well throughout the fight. In the first fight, Gaethje was willing to take punches on his guard before countering back, but here he does a better job of avoiding the strikes completely before countering. In the first fight, Gaethje attacked Dustin's legs with his low kicks and threw almost all his punches to the head. In this fight, he did a better job of mixing in body shots as well. Gaethje has used a far more varied and intelligent approach both offensively and defensively in this rematch, but there is one technique in particular that seals him the win. In the first fight, Gaethje's most damaging attack was the inside low kick off his right leg, but that technique ultimately led to his finish, as Dustin countered that technique throughout and scored the TKO off of one of those counters. In this fight, Gaethje completely abandons that kick, instead opting for the right high kick. He throws two in the first round, but with no feints or strikes in front of them, Dustin is able to block both. However, in the second round, Gaethje is able to land well and finish the fight. So how did Gaethje land this one when he was unable to in the first round? Notice that this time he puts a right hand in front of the kick. Dustin brings his left hand across the parry, but the right hand just makes contact. With the right hand in his face and him blinking from the strike, Dustin doesn't see the kick until it's too late. Notice here how Gaethje's kick is already on the way. And with that, the record stands at 1-1. It'd be great to see a third fight between them in the future. Thank you for watching.